this tonight we're gonna talk about. This is about Jam and Lewis. So yes, and yes, Janet is the GOAT. Yes. Anybody who has heard my music knows that I get inspired by Janet a lot. If you saw the Forehead Kisses video, if you heard the song Forehead Kisses, when I did those moans in that Forehead Kisses video, when I did those moans in that Forehead Kisses video, it was so much like the song, Would You Mind? You know, at the end, have you ever heard, you know, that's the song where she had the dude tied up, and on the concert, she tied him up. Oh, we got another Jesus. There we go. Call him. Okay. So that song, Would You Mind? She's like, would you like it if I touch you, take you, feel you, smell you, feel you, how much I miss you? I'm not gonna say the words just because they're they raunchy. Yeah. But at the end of the song, she goes into straight nasty girl mode. That all of that's going on at the end of the song, right? Yeah. I had to go Janet Jackson. I had to pull it out of my bag and go Janet Jackson and Forehead Kisses just so I could pay some homage to my girl Janet. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know how else to do it. But again, this ain't about Janet Jackson. I'm getting off topic. This is about Jam and Lewis, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. So let me give you guys a little bit of background on Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, right? Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis were, they're originally from Minneapolis, Minnesota. And anybody who knows anything about Minneapolis, Minnesota, we know 3 major groups that came from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Outside of Mint Condition, who is from Minneapolis, Minnesota, you had The Time and you had Prince. All a part of the Minneapolis connection, right? So, of course, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis were members of The Time. They were producers in The Time, right? So, if you don't know who The Time is the group that came out with Gigolos Get Lonely Too and Morris Day. Morris Day was the front man for The Time. They came out with Fishnets, Black Pantyhose, Thick Legs. Show through the holes. Yeah, that's yeah. They said everything. I think The Time came out and The Time said everything we wanted to say. You know what I'm saying? Like between, and of course, Prince. You know, Prince and The Time, they were all correlated. You know, because The Time was Prince's. That was his baby at one point. That was his group. You know what I'm saying? Those were his people. So. The story behind Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, they were in the group The Time, and they were producing for The Time. They were the ones who actually produced the song Fishnets. But there was an agreement that they had with Prince that when they produced music, they could only produce music for The Time. Right? That was the agreement. And then suddenly this song came out that says, people always talking about reputation. I don't care about the mother girls. Just be good to me. Ooh. And guess what? That was produced by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Prince found out about it. Prince was like, busted up the agreement. The agreement was you were supposed to produce music only for us. Right. You got to go. So Jam and Lewis were ultimately fired from The Time, only to become one of the best production team, and in my opinion, the absolute best production team ever. Like ever. So I said all that to say my top 5 today is paying homage to Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, which, by the way, y'all, I was so excited. I put the story up on my Instagram, and I said, shout out to my favorite production team. I didn't tag them. I just said my favorite production team, and I put a little picture or whatever. And guess who saw my story? Jimmy Jam. Jimmy Jam saw my story. So listen. I am geeking over here because Jimmy Jam saw my story. He saw my story. That's enough for me.
That's an honor. That's an honor in itself. Yeah.
Right. I was graced with the virtual presence of Jimmy Jam on my story. Flight Time. Shout out to Flight Time Productions, y'all. Y'all don't understand. So getting into this top 5. We're used to hearing some stuff that they've done before. Like, I just talked about the whole, Janet Jackson Rhythm Nation album, the Control album. They were responsible for Janet Jackson's third album because the first 2 albums were produced by Joe Jackson, and Janet was like, no, I got to get out of here, right? But there are some other songs that you hear on the radio that you probably don't even realize are Jam and Lewis. You want to hear about it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let me tell y'all something. Do y'all know the song Encore by Cheryl Lynn?
Who don't? Who doesn't?
Listen, I was living 4 miles from Mexico. I have been all over the place, y'all, but I was living 4 miles from Mexico. And I was in the grocery store, and I'm pushing the cart in the grocery store, and Encore by Cheryl Lynn comes on while I am in HEB. You would have thought, let me tell you, every citizen of Laredo got a show that day. Because after working hard, 9 to 5, I gave it to them. Do y'all understand? So yes.
With the spoons and start just going.
And I know it's you I wanna see tonight. Gotta be. So they got a whole performance that day, y'all. So yes, Encore by Cheryl Lynn is one of the productions by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Another one of my favorite songs that y'all might not even realize was Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, but you hear it all the time. And I have a statement to make about this song is On Bended Knee by Boyz II Men. How beautiful is that song? Now, let me just say this because I noticed this one day and I was getting so pissed off. The song On Bended Knee is a man begging a woman back.
Of course.
Why were there people getting engaged to this song on Good Morning America one day?
Because they don't pay attention.
Because they thought On Bended Knee was a proposal song. And in the song, they clearly say, can we go back to the days our love was strong? Can you tell me how perfect love goes wrong? Can somebody tell me how to get things back the way they used to be? Oh, God, give me the reason I'm down on bended knee. That is not a proposal song. So, yes. So that's my number 2. My number 2 on this list is definitely On Bended Knee, right? Number 3, and I got my little list right here, so y'all gotta work with me. And I do have some bonus tracks just because, that's the nature of me. Number 3, I don't know if y'all remember the song Heaven by Solo or the song Where Do You Want Me to Put It? That's a nasty song, by the way. But and by it, I think all of us are adults and we know what he's talking about, right? So, but the song Heaven, it clearly, it's just simple. It's like, I got heaven right here on earth. I got heaven right here on earth. Heaven right here on earth. Like, that's the song. That's the chord. That's the hook, right? Mm-hmm. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis actually produced both of those songs. And I grew up listening to both of those songs. Wow. Never knew Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis did both of those songs, right? Amazing, amazing. Where do you want me to put it? That's what the song says. Where do you want me to put it? It ain't but so many places. I mean, I'm not trying to be nasty, but leave it where it is. I don't know. Like, it depends on who you.
What can I say?
Right. But that's the song. That's what they say. Where do you want me to put it? Anyway, we're going to go to this number 4. Number 4, I had to put this one on here for Karev, because I know how much Karev loves himself some Karen Wheeler. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis were the producers for I Adore You. So just so you know, Jam and Lewis, they're all over the place. In fact,
yes, it is a classic. Yep.
Yes, that is a classic. I Adore You is definitely a classic. Karen Wheeler, Miss Back to Life, yep. Back to Reality, which tomorrow is Monday, so that song stays very relevant. So yes, but Karen Wheeler, I Adore You was produced by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and it was also a part of the Mo Money soundtrack. Mo Money, yep. I believe most of that soundtrack was produced, if not all of it, was produced by Jam and Lewis.
Yeah, Best Things in Life for Free, right?
Yep,
and Luther and Janet.
Yeah, Luther and Janet, and what was the other song? The Ralph Tresvant one.
Money Can't Buy You
Love.
Yeah. Can't buy you diamonds.
Yeah, that Jam and Lewis again.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, people don't even realize the songs that they listen to are Jam and Lewis. If they're not Jam and Lewis, they're Jam and Lewis inspired.
Right.
Number 5 on my list is Tender Love by the Force MDs. If y'all didn't know, now you know. And when
Crush Groove soundtrack.
I lay all alone.
Mm-hmm. Toss and turning,
longing for some of your
tender love.
So listen, and Nas and I were having a whole conversation about that video earlier, because for some reason, if y'all never seen the video, I advise you to go to YouTube and watch that video. The brothers were bouncing a little bit too much for me, because it was like, here I lay all alone.
I mean, it's like tossing and turning, like you need a karate flip or something like.
Yeah. So it's like, wait, what is going on? What's going on in this video? Because
the girl looking outside like.
It's kind of like, are they listening to the same song we listening to? Yeah. You know. But Force MDs put it down on that song, but that song is produced by, yes, absolutely. Shout out to Force MDs, and that song is produced by the one and only Jam and Lewis. Now, for honorable mentions, I want to make sure I say this: Optimistic by the Sounds of Blackness, yes. Also produced by them. It was another one that I had on here, and I left my list. Where's my list? My list is somewhere. Oh, here's my list. I know I had some more songs on here. I Didn't Mean to Turn You On by Sherelle. That song was actually remade by Robert Palmer. They were hitting the heck out them doo-wop snaps. I mean, if anybody has not watched that Tender Love video, I mean, the song, the video is full of Jerry curl juice and doo-wop snaps. Like, and he got the little curl going on in the front, the
dude in the back with the yellow coat on, that was the biggest dude I ever seen that had a Jerry curl on before. Like he big as hell with a big ass. Shout out to Force MD. That was on the Crush Groove soundtrack. If y'all want to know where it came from.
Yes. Make sure you check that video out.